Aisha McCoy, Family Recruitment Specialist with Children's Home Society, and welcome to Family Talks, the series where we speak with foster and adopted families about their journeys in bringing children to permanent, safe, and loving families. Not only are we going to have a conversation today with the family, but also you guys get to be a part of the conversation as well. Make sure to comment your foster care and adoption questions in the chat. We have our recruiters right there to respond to any questions that you have. Now, one common misconception with adoption is that adoption is very expensive. And when adopting from foster care, what a lot of people don't realize is that it can cost very little to no money. Now, we have a family that's not only adopted one child, but have adopted 5 children that can tell you better than anybody. I want everybody to meet Raphael and Dana Brown. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Raphael and Dana Brown are part of the CHS ambassador team, and they've been heavily involved along with their 5 kids in helping to recruit other families. So Dana and Raphael, how did you guys get started with your foster care and adoption journey? What made you decide to foster and adopt?
Well, we started our journey in 2008. We had been contemplating for a while about fostering or adoption because I could not conceive. And so it was a discussion that we had for a while. And then finally, we just decided to inquire and get the information. And then we decided to do it.
Okay, got you. So when you were starting that process, what were you guys' thoughts or feelings about it? This is something, a new journey for you.
Well, one, we could not agree on how many children we wanted to foster or adopt. That was the first thing. And It was, really, you hear so many misconceptions about children in care, that they have so many issues, and whether or not you want to deal with the issues of the children that are in care. So we had to do our own research, to take away the misconceptions that there are with children in care.
So with getting started with the process, was there anything that, you found challenging as far as like getting started with the adoption process, whether it was, I don't know, maybe the paperwork? What did you find anything challenging about getting started?
What was challenging more or less was having to go back and relive or redo some of your childhood when they ask you, what did you like? What didn't you like? How was discipline handled in your home? Things of that. Those things were a little harder because you have to really sit down and go back and think, how was it? What didn't I like? Or if you didn't have a great childhood, you had to relive those moments when doing the paperwork.
Yeah. What about you, Dana? Did you find anything?
For me, it was the paperwork as well. Because like Raphael said, you had to go back and you had to relive things that has happened to you as a child, and you had to really think about the relationships that you have with your siblings, or you had with your mother or your father, and so you had to think about that. And if you've had any childhood trauma, then it makes you relive that. And so you have to be able to deal with that and talk about it, so it can get you to a place that you are able to help a child.
So I know going through the TIPS MAP class, I know that was a part of it, or just even not TIPS MAP classes, any training that you've been through. What are some of the most valuable things that you guys learned during that training?
I think it was very valuable, but it was funny at the same time when we did the Love and Logic class. So we learned all these skills in Love and Logic, which was wonderful skills. And then we came home and we applied some of them skills until our children got wise and said, oh, they learned this in the class. It didn't work anymore for a while. because they figured out, they done went for training, and this is what this is coming from. But I think the trainings are excellent, and they're excellent benefit to the family to help, especially for us, because we went from having 0 kids to having 5 kids in a matter of 3 years.
Ooh,
so that was a big jump for us. So we went from having 0 to 5 in a matter of 3 years. So the trainings was very valuable for us to teach us how to be parents, because he didn't have any kids, I didn't have any kids. So it was, a great change in our house all at one time. And because our older 3 are so close in age, it was a little difficult, because you got these 3 that's around the same age at the same time, and then we went from having 3 at the same time to still having 1 in Pampers. So it was a great change for us. So
that was a very eventful 3 years. Yeah, and I mean, I can just, as you were talking about, like how your children had caught on to the training, I just see them like looking through the handbook, like, I think mom and dad are gonna do this. That's the picture that I got in my head. They were on to y'all.
Yeah, they called us. Yeah, they called us.
Yeah, for sure. They were on to you. So you go through the trainings, you go through the licensing process. So when you were pursuing adoption, did you guys have any like age preferences or gender going into it?
Ladies had to be school age.
School age children.
I didn't want no staying up at night, no night feedings, no changing diapers. I didn't want none of that. You had to be school age.
School age.
But unfortunately, with our 5th one, we got that. We had 2 that wasn't school age. We had 1 in diapers, 1 that we had to stay up with at night.
Yeah, so we did get it, and we got it because at that point we had 3 boys, and I just had to have me a girl. I was outnumbered, and I wanted a girl, but the girl was a sibling group. And so when they called me about the girl, they said, well, but there's a catch. She has a little brother. So I was like, okay, let's go. Let's go for it. And so I got my girl, and I got an infant, because he had just turned a year old, but he was still in diapers. So we had to go through the potty training stage, teething stage. We had to go through all that. So, but it was worth it. It really was. Yeah.
Yeah. So you had to go through the sleepless nights and the Pampers after all.
Yeah. We went through the sleepless nights with the 4-year-old.
Yeah, it was. But it has really been worth it all. I wouldn't take anything back. I wouldn't do anything different with the children that I have. They are my bundle of joy. Sometimes they take you there, but they my bundle of joy.
Yeah, I mean, as children often do, foster, adopted, biological. At the end of the day, I think children are all gonna test our parents a little bit. So
the water, yes, right.
Yeah, it's great that you guys were so flexible, in you guys' age and gender preferences, because that really allowed you to really get the children that were meant for you guys, that were clearly meant for you guys, and that now. You also talked about how you guys were open to the possibility of keeping doing sibling groups, and I think that kind of started from wanting a daughter, but she came with a little baby brother. So how important is it to keep siblings together to you guys?
Well, I come from, it's 8 of us. Wow. And so, and my mother was a single parent for the majority of my life. And he comes from a family of 5. And so his mother was a single parent. So we knew that it was important to keep siblings together, because even though our parents were single parents, they didn't let anything happen to us, and they kept us together the best that they could. So it was very important to us that we didn't separate a sibling, because oftentimes the siblings are the only other person that child knows. And so they have been together for so long, and that's their comfort, that to separate them would devastate them more than just keeping them together.
I had touched on it a little bit earlier about how a lot of people kind of shy away from adoption because they feel like, it's expensive, that it costs a lot of money. From your experience, how much has it cost you guys to adopt your children from foster care?
It has cost us literally nothing other than having to buy furniture for a room or something like that. It hasn't cost us anything.
Other than the normal expenses that a parent has, it hasn't cost us anything. Yeah. I mean, we have to replacing things and buying things, but that's part of being a parent. As far as paying for adoption expenses or stuff like that, we hadn't paid for anything. If we did spend any money, we were reimbursed for it through the process.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. With 12,000 children in the foster care system, we are in need of safe, supportive, and loving families for children more than ever. Today, we're going to bust 5 myths about children that are in foster care. Myth number 1, you have to have a lot of money to foster. Fact, you don't have to have a lot of money to be a foster parent. We just want to make sure that you and your family are financially stable. Myth number 2, you have to be married to be a foster parent. Fact, foster parents can be married or single, male or female. Myth number 3, when I foster a child, I'm on my own without any help. Fact, you are not alone as a foster parent. You have helpful agency staff here with CHS, as well as training to help prepare you for children coming into your home. Myth number 4, I can't be a foster parent. I get too attached when they leave. Fact, the truth is, yes, as a foster parent, you may get attached, but you have the opportunity as a foster parent to make a lasting difference in a child's life, no matter how long or short you are in their lives. Myth number 5, children in foster care aren't great kids. Fact, children in foster care are amazing kids. True, they have been through challenging, painful experiences, but with families like you who give them a loving, supportive environment, they can thrive. So now that you know the facts, I invite you to go to our website, chsnc.org/foster, to learn more about how you can be the difference in the life of a child. So when it comes to fostering and adopting, why do you feel like, why should more people consider fostering or adopting? What do you think?
Well, I think that every child deserves a fair shot at life, and it's not their fault that they can't be with their biological family. It's just that they're suffering the consequence of it, but it's not their fault. And so every child deserves the right to have a family that loves and cares for them, and that's really going to push them and support them to be the best them that they can be. Whatever that might look like to them, but I think every child deserves that chance to have that family that's going to be there and support them.
What about you, Raphael?
I think all kids deserve a chance at life, and no matter how it starts out, it's all about how it finishes and what happens in between. And they can't control what happens in the beginning, but they do have a little control as it progresses through life. And as parents, it's our job to help them get to wherever they want to be in life. Whatever it is, whatever it may be, may not be, that's our job. And we as adults that are considering foster or adoption, we need to look at that. How do we help them become our future?
Definitely. Yeah. And like you said, you're as a parent, you're there to help them get to, where they're supposed to be. And, at CHS, we believe that, our biggest opportunity in affecting change in our community is by helping families, because after all, communities are, made of families. So you guys definitely, had some experience working with CHS. So what did you guys appreciate most about working with our agency?
The one thing I appreciated is that we had the same social worker for all of the adoption.
Things have changed.
It never changed. And no matter what we went through with our children, they were always there to support us. When we had one in the hospital, they got up and came at 2:00 in the morning and sat with us. When we had another one in the hospital, they came and sat with us and was there for us to make sure we had everything we needed.
Yeah. And just a quick shout out. Who did you have that whole time for your social worker?
Miss Gloria Betho.
Gloria is actually shout out to Gloria. She's now actually on our resource team, so she actually works with foster families and help get children placed. So that's wonderful. Shout outs to you, Gloria. Yeah,
and she didn't play no games neither. She didn't play no games.
Yeah, Gloria is wonderful, and she does amazing work on the resource team. And I'm sure even before that, she she helped you guys out with adoption. So she's wonderful. Yeah, so it's been great, talking with you guys and hearing a little more about your story. Is there anything else that you want to add, for families who are considering adoption?
I would like to say that for the families that are considering adoption, it will be a choice that you would not regret. It is very rewarding. I love my children. I love working with CHS. They have been so helpful. Even after the adoption was final, they were still there for post-adoption services. And if we just needed some assistance or had questions, they've still been there. Even when we call right now, they're still there to answer questions. And our adoptions have been final for years, but they have always been there. And so I'll say that CHS is a great agency to work for. And they really care about the children as well as you. So they're not an agency just trying to place children. They're going to make sure that it's a great fit for the both of you, for the child and for the family that's looking to foster or adopt.
Anything else, Raphael?
There's nothing I can't say about CHS. I mean, CHS has been there for us through everything. With the post-adoption services, with our oldest son, when he wanted to find his biological father, they were there to help him with that, to make it possible for him to at least be able to send him a letter. And they've been there. They've helped us when we've had questions about anything, whether it be being in contact with the families of the adopted, our children. And one thing I liked about CHS is when we first got there, Miss Sandra, who was there, she did not like the term foster kids. She told us all they are kids in care. They're not foster kids. And that's something that stuck with me over the years, because being an educator, I've come across a lot of different kids over the years that are kids in care. And you don't treat them any different than you do anybody else, because they can't help that they're kids in care. And CHS makes that possible, that all the kids are treated the same, that they get everything the same as any other children would get. For holidays, everything, they've made sure over the years our kids has had everything. For Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving, whatever, they made sure all the kids in care received the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we definitely make sure that at CHS that we're here for our families, not just, during the process, but we're also here after. And as you guys, had, the same social worker with Gloria, she basically became an extended family member. So not only are we creating families, but we become a part of the family as well. So one quick thing I want to just throw out here before we wrapped up. I just remember how I met you guys indirectly. I was just starting out this position as a family recruiter, and one of the things that I did with onboarding was I would watch, videos of different families who, had adopted with us. And your video happened to have been one that I watched with you and your children. And here one day, I'm in the store at Walmart, and my little sister, she insisted on bringing her toy shopping cart into Walmart. So she was pushing it around the store. And so I'm running after her. I'm like, Alana, where you going? And then I look up and I was starstruck because I saw you guys. I didn't say anything at that time, but I was starstruck because I was like, that's the family from the video. I remember that, that feeling but I mean, just like you say, the children, your children were meant to be, it was meant for me to interact with your family. So I'm excited to and honored to have been able to talk with you, been able to work with you, volunteer with not just you guys, but your kids as well. So thank you guys again for agreeing to share your story here on Family Talk.
You're welcome.
So now that we've had a conversation here with the Brown family, I hope that this story inspires you to begin a story of your own. Our recruiters are still answering your questions in the chat. So make sure if you have any CHS, foster care, or adoption questions, make sure to comment that in the chat. We're still here answering your questions. If you are ready to take that first step in your journey, make sure to go to chsnc.org/apply, and that will take you to our application to begin your foster care or adoption journey. Thank you so much for watching. This is Family Talks. We'll see you next time.
Are you interested in becoming a foster or adoptive parent? Our website, chsnc.org/foster, is the place to begin your journey to grow your family. Find answers to frequently asked questions about foster care and adoption. Still have questions? RSVP for an information meeting to learn more about our agency, the licensing process, and answer any questions that you have. Ready to get started? Click the Get Started button to take the first step and complete an application.